She was a surprise candidate because she was not one of the favorites to win that primary of Les Républicains, the centre-right party. Xavier Bertrand and Michel Barnier were the two favorites, and they got kicked out in the first round of that primary, and so she went into the second round and won this to be the candidate for Les Républicains. This 54-year-old woman, she'll be the first woman ever to represent Les Républicains. So now you have three women in this race representing some of the major parties in this election. And look, she's a political insider. She was close to Jacques Chirac. She's been Minister for Budget under Nicolas Sarkozy. Currently, she's President of the Île-de-France region, which is the Paris region. She left, actually, Les Républicains a couple of years ago because she wasn't happy with the political line that the party was taking. She rejoined earlier this year in order to run in this primary, and now she won. So can she be a contender in this race? Look, at the moment, she's polling at around 10%, but it's expected that she will get a bump now that she's the official candidate for Les Républicains. The big challenge for her will be to gather the votes, to get a big split between the centre-right vote, a lot of them that have gone to Emmanuel Macron, this kind of pro-business, pro-European kind of centre-right vote, and a lot of the politicians of that branch have gone to join Emmanuel Macron, including Bruno Le Maire, the economy minister, for example, and to join the more far-right kind of voters, the ones that have been more seduced by Éric Zemmour, the more socially conservative kind of voters are going to Éric Zemmour or Marine Le Pen. So her challenge will be to be able to gather all those votes. If she manages to do that, then she could get into the second round, and then she could be a potential contender against Emmanuel Macron. But there's a lot of question marks because, of course, this is a two-round election. There's still Marine Le Pen is still the number two in polls in the first round intention votes at the moment. So the one most likely to get into the second round as things stand now. And remember, she was in the second round in the previous election. But said the campaign is really heating up this weekend. You had several events. You had Marine Le Pen herself, so the far-right candidate for the Rassemblement National, was in Warsaw meeting other populist leaders, including Viktor Orban of Hungary, trying to give herself this kind of international dimension, meeting other European leaders there. Jean-Luc Mélenchon, the far-left candidate, also holding his first campaign rally, and Éric Zemmour, this far-right political commentator who's announced he was running on Tuesday in this election. He had a bit of a buzz around his name a couple of months ago, going ahead in the polls of Marine Le Pen. He had a bit of a loss of momentum, so he's hoping that now officially announcing his race will help him, give him a bump again in this race. His speech yesterday was very much the populist themes that we heard before. He was in favor, he said, of zero immigration, calling his party Reconquête, so making here a reference to the Christians' battle against the Moors in Spain for decades. But he's defending that he is not a racist. Take a listen.
Je ne suis pas raciste.
Of course I'm not racist. No, of course, you're not a racist. All we want is to defend our heritage. We're defending our country, our homeland, the heritage of our ancestors, and the heritage that we will entrust to our children. The preservation of heritage is not the enemy of modernity. It is the very condition of its existence. Yes, we are engaged in a struggle that is greater than ourselves, that of passing on to our children, France as we have known it, France as we have received it.
So there's a protest around this Éric Zemmour rally that has arrived on this political scene. So it'll be interesting to see what that means for the far-right vote, whether some of these votes will go back to Marine Le Pen or to Valerie Pecresse, the centre-right candidate. But the one name that is not confirmed just yet, of course, is Emmanuel Macron himself, the president. He'd expected, usually sitting presidents announce their candidacy only a little bit later. So he's not expected to announce until 2022. But there's still a lot of uncertainty out there. Of course, this fifth wave of COVID throwing more uncertainty on the scene, and this Omicron variant as well. So if further restrictions were to be put in place, it could make things a little bit trickier for the government. But at the moment, President Macron is still far ahead in the polls for the first round of election. The question is who he will face in the second round.